Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Brandon Snake, Drew, Logan Licky, Scott Walker. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see everybody in here. How's everybody's morning going so far? Is it just me, or are you guys about sick of Tennessee's ass? Do they ever shut up? I don't think they ever shut up. Yeah, getting over it. acting like they've done some shit. Crazy. 921 Texas still sucks. Yes, definitely sick of them. Fuck Texas. So yeah. What up, BG? Perfect timing. Welcome into the show. Oh, what's up? Oh, starting a champ series today. Should be a good one. See how. I think it's kind of hard for me to do it, but I guess I'll be rooting for Texas Tech today. I don't do that SEC shit like everybody else. I think more than anything else, I just want to see what Mike White's excuse is going to be when they gag it up again. If they gag it up again. We'll see. Texas should. They're definitely good. They have a pretty good shot at it. But welcome into the show, everybody. Man, been looking at a lot. This CFP stuff it's just wild. It's just wild, man. It's now you got the Big Ten and SEC are going back and forth at each other. Yeah, Tennessee's Mike White 2.0. The SEC Big War is entertaining. You know, I think it's so damn. I mean, I guess it's entertaining. It's stupid though. Their conference is trash. Top to bottom, it ain't good. You've got top to good. It's top, very good at the top. When you look at Ohio State, you know, Michigan maybe might get back there. I don't buy into Penn State at all. You know, I mean, they got everybody coming back, but yay, good for them. You're gonna have to show me you can win, but you know, it is getting kind of wild though between all that stuff, and it's like I said on the video yesterday. I've been saying it, you know, throughout pretty much the last weekend. Is first off, if you're the Big 12, I don't understand it. Big 12 ACC, it makes no sense to me why you would want to go to that 5-11 shit. And I've heard all the bullshit. I mean, I've heard all the bullshit about, you know, it's the American way, and that's what Kuzto said. It's un-American to do it that way. Fucking get out of here. But I mean, this idea, all the talk that goes on about the playing the FCS team or whatever in the season or whatever, if you're the SEC, you can say all that shit, but they still play a better schedule than your ass does in the Big Ten. And that's the big argument. That's where they're at on it. I don't think that the Big Ten is even going to discuss 5+11 unless SEC goes to a 9-game schedule. That's it. And do I want to see the SEC go to a 9-game schedule? Yeah. I mean, I think for the preservation of the rivalries, absolutely. But that being said, I definitely understand why the SEC is saying no. Not unless there's assurances that they're going to get that it's going to be strength of schedule will be an actual metric used to choose. Now, again, I'm going to say it again. 5-11 is the death sentence for the ACC and the Big 12. Now, the ACC's got a couple of programs that are not going to be dead. They're going to end up in the Big 10 or the SEC. And I don't know out of the Big 12 that you have that, which is why it's so stupid to me. It's just so stupid to me that you would even think about that shit. Listen, I want to go to the 9 games. I mean, man, I've been pumping it since the start. And I want to see the best football possible week after week. I don't care anything about them playing shitty schools. I mean, it's part of the deal. And to be fair, I mean, it's not like they don't do the same shit in the Big 10. I mean, you can go and look at the schedules there. I mean, hell, but let's pull one up because I find it rather funny that you're hearing these kind of things. And I mean, we were talking about USC's yesterday. It's a trash schedule. Penn State, though, what a joke. Let's see. Nevada. They start off with Nevada. Florida International, Nova. Then they got Oregon. Then they go UCLA, Northwestern, Iowa. Okay, Iowa's okay. Ohio State. But then it's Indiana, Michigan State, Nebraska, Rutgers. I guess that one it's not as bad as at least that one's not as bad as USC. But I mean, you put that up against pretty much any SEC program not named Texas. No, I'm just kidding. Even put it up against Texas. It's not a schedule, man. This ain't the same shit. The only losses they should have are Oregon and Ohio State, and at least they play them both. I don't know. Maybe that one's not the best one. Let's see. Let's go with another one. Let's see that Illinois, that juggernaut at Illinois that everybody's been talking about. Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, Indiana. Then SC, Purdue, Ohio State, UW, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern. I mean, it's just, man, they're just not that good. They're just not that good. Yeah, they will. Well, but here's the thing. Yeah, think about that. You add that 9th game, it definitely ups that strength of schedule, but it also adds 9 losses to your schedule, to your overall record in the conference, all that other stuff. So that's fine, and whatever. But the thing is if you're gonna just count wins and losses, you can understand why Greg Sankey and the coaches and everybody else are saying that that's not what they want to do. I just get it. But the guaranteed, the Big Ten is not going to discuss this 5+11 shit. They don't even want to talk about it unless they go to a 9th game. So I'm going to go back to kind of where I was yesterday, and I've been there for the last few days. You got to do the 4-4-4 or the 4-4-2-2. You got to do it. And I mean, I don't even know why it's even a question at this point. You know what I mean? I don't even know why it's a question at this point. What's up there, Satterfield, Mars Jam, Scott Walker, David Whitehead, MWG, Urban Engine? You want the divisions back in play. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the reason that I want to see them go to the 4-4-2-2 thing, first off, I don't want to cut off half of the country or more, right? I just don't want to see you do that. And here's the deal. You're going to take a lot of the bullshit that we have to talk about year after year after year with the committee, and put that out of. I mean, all they'll be doing is seeding once they get there, because your top 4 teams in the ACC and the Big 12 would be able to play it off for the 2 spots. You could have 1 versus 3, 2 versus 4. And then, of course, the Big 10 and the SEC can do, the top 2 get in, and then you got, 3, 6, 4, 5 playing for the last 2 spots. I love it, man. I think it's more football. It's going to keep these programs engaged all the way through, because if you're in the SEC, you're jockeying for a top 6 spot just to have a shot to it, like, extends the playoff. You know what I mean? Which Big 12 schools will be good this year? K-State, man. The only thing about K-State, and we were talking about this before, I think they're very good. I think there's some good teams. I don't know how good we're talking. Texas Tech's supposed to, everybody's talking about Texas Tech. They're the sexy pick. Watch them not do shit. And no, Oklahoma State, no. I don't think so. But ask Cody Light. He'll tell you what he thinks, I'm sure. What up there, B Sharp? What up with you? But yeah, hey, let me know what you think, because I'm telling you, it's got to be that 4-4-2-2. You got to. At first I didn't really like the idea. I got to say, I've warmed up to it. I like the idea of the play-in style instead of having a conference championship. What's up, Mr. Pickles? Oh, Sergeant Pickles. What's up, my guy? To me, but how many people in here? Tell me what you say. Hell, let me let me get in here and mess with these layers and stuff. Hold on. I got some shit I can do here. Let's see. Maybe. Pause. Here we go. All right. Four. Oops. 4-4-2-2. 5 plus 11. I want to check out this one on the EV Mux and see how it looks on there. We'll see what it looks like. All right, let's go. Oh, but that's kind of sucky. I don't think it's going to do it like that, like I wanted it to in there, but we'll add it. Okay. See what it looks like. I think I'm going to have to yeah, that's kind of trash. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Huh. Let me get the copy link. All right. So we'll go in here to the live stream. You guys hit the like button yet? Come on now. Hit that like button. We got 28 people, only half of you guys, not even half of you guys. Come on, bro. Come on now. All right, you can go there and click on whichever one you like. Let's just try it out and see what it looks like, I guess. I don't know. We don't have to really worry too much about it, but there we go. All right. Huh. See what it looks like. Oh, we've got a few people voting. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I'll just put it like right there. Anyway, I don't even think that it's a question though. To me, I really don't. I really don't think it's a question. I think that if you don't go to the 4-4-2-2 thing, I think that you become a power 2 within a couple of years, and you're going to leave a lot of those programs out. There's just no two ways around it. The G5 deserves a shot? Why? I don't know. I don't think I care. But SEC can't keep making these toughest schedule arguments without the 9th game. You want to bet? All you got to do is look at Pickles, all you got to do is look at the actual strength of schedule numbers. They play a tougher schedule. All that Big 12, all that Big 10 bullshit, we're looking at 2 of the schedules. They're trash. They're trash. Norman, hold on real quick, guys. Dog is on my last nerve today. All right. Mary J, what's up? Good morning. Celebrates 5 months of membership. Thank you so much, Mary J. Much appreciated for your membership here. Very cool. Neilio, good to see you, man. It's not correct. That's incorrect. They're definitely harder than pretty much any one of your Big Ten schedules, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. And that 8 and 9 bullshit, I don't buy it. But I'll tell you this. I think most SEC fans want to see a 9th game because we'd rather see better football games. Yeah. Oklahoma's schedule last year and this year without the 9th game. It's the number 1 toughest schedule in the country. Period. So it is what it is. In the end, though, I mean, we don't even have to continue the argument about it. To me, it doesn't matter that much. ASU, KSU, and a 3rd team will be in that race for the Big 12. Yep. What's up, Zolfix, Bishop Frank, Satterfield? What's up, everybody? Let's see. MWG. I think conference championships are only going to be for the weaker conferences with no real shot in the playoff. But I don't think you have to do that. I think that if they were to go to the other, and look, man, you guys know that I've been saying it for a while. I'm not a big fan of actually, I'm not a big fan of automatic bids at all. I just don't love them. I don't mind having your conference champion in or whatever, but that with setting it up that way, you'd still have an opportunity to get a 3rd. If you go with the 5+11, I would say the Big 12 in 6 years, they might get 8 qualifiers, maybe 7 or 8 qualifiers, or they could get 12. It just doesn't make sense. And that means that out of those 1 that you get in every year, if you don't have one that goes deep, gets semis and maybe even into the championship game, you're killed your brands. Killed it. They will be completely irrelevant by the time it's all over with. It's just crazy. Who said anything about playing Washington State? Didn't they beat y'all last year? I mean, our boy Mateer got y'all's asses. Where's your sticker? Where is your sticker? I don't know. Barbershop fan voted stickers. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about. You only get to do that once a month, you know? Let's see. No. I would say the gap is bigger than people act like it is. But I'll just say that, but either way, and I'm fine with the 9 games. I think I know Oklahoma fans are. And I think by and large, most of the SEC fans want to see it because what ends up happening is you're going to end up losing rivalries. But the problem is you go to a 9th game. Now Florida's playing Miami and Florida State all the time. Are they going to be able to continue playing them both? I don't know. They might end up playing at least one of them. But, some of those ones that they have, the out-of-conference ones, and look, I'd like to see Bedlam come back. Not that Mike Gundy's got the stones to do it, but it's probably not going to have stickers for voting. Is there a sticker for voting? I don't even know how that is, dude. I don't know anything about this. I'm just trying this stuff out, man. Just trying this stuff out. Is that what it said in that link? I guess I should go to that link, huh? And look and vote myself. Did I even? Let me see. Okay. What did that? There was no sticker for sticker for voting. I'm a little slow, bro. I'm a little slow. I got you, man. That's pretty funny. That's good stuff. What's up, Comanche Sooner? What's up? What's up? Let's see. Yeah. No, and I just said this too. That's the biggest reason. I think that takes the committee out. The only thing that they're doing is, I guess they'll be able to choose 3 teams, not 11, but more or less though, even then, it's more of a seeding committee at that point. Because, and is it even 3? I guess it would be 3. But one of them is Notre Dame unless they're like 8-4. You know what I mean? Also rather see a 14-game regular season with 10 or 11 conference games rather than a double bye playoff. Now, I don't think they're going to do that double bye crap. You can't. If you go to 16, it's an even number of teams. You don't need buys. I don't think they need to do that. I don't think they need to do that at all. That would be my hope. So the blue is 4422, I guess, huh? Yep. It is. All right. Well, how many votes do we end up with? Shit, I don't even like that. I think the one that they do on YouTube is better. Sheesh. All right. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to get rid of that. It's in the way. Let's see. Nice wipe ratio this morning. What does that mean? They wind up using remnants of the Mountain West with Pac-12 and ACC, a glorified coastal conference. Whoa, what are we talking about? Hey, thanks, man. I don't know. I don't know. Is the Mountain West It sounds like the Sun Belt's kind of taken over as the top. Maybe the AAC is still somewhat there, but it feels like the Sun Belt has kind of moved up in the pecking order of the G6 or whatever you want to call it. I guess the Pac-12 could be considered that, but who do they? I don't even know who they're going to have. What, 6 teams or 7 teams or something like that? Isn't that what they decided on? But which ones are going? I mean, I know you'll have Washington State and Oregon State, which I still think that sucks for them. But that should be off. What the hell? I already had it on the do not disturb. That's weird. All right. No, I think starting next year they'll have, or maybe the year after. I think, what is it? San Diego State they added. I heard Bomber and them talking about it. I think they have at least 6 or 7, something like that. But they were talking about they should add Texas State. I was like, holy shit, man, what the hell are we talking about? It's wild. It's wild to me that you would still call it the Pac-12 even. And it's just not even the same thing. Wow, she's unbelievable, isn't she? How many teams are actually in the Big 12? 18, I believe. I think it's 18. Hey, Pickles, thanks for coming in, man. The like button, wipe the feet. Wipe them. Oh, I got you. They should make the conference championship game be played during the first round of the playoffs with the at-large teams. Yeah, I don't think you have to go that far with it. But I like the idea of having those single games that's more games that are meaningful. And at the end of the year, you're looking at it as, in the ACC or the Big 12, you'd have 4 teams playing for 2 spots. You'd have 4 teams playing for 2 spots in the Big 10 as well. Same. So you basically you end up with, it'd be instead of 16, it'd be a 2014 playoff. They kind of extend the playoff out that way, but at least it's all done on one weekend. You don't have to worry about all that crap. But all right. Nelio says, I have a friend who is a game official with the Sun Belt, says both the SEC and the Big 10 now come to the Sun Belt to promote referees, meaning they put the Sun Belt very high. Well, they've been, I think the AAC was definitely that until they started moving them out, Of course, because with the Big 12 ended up with, you had Houston, Cincinnati wasn't an AAC, were they? Or they might have been, right? Or were they? I don't remember. But for sure, Houston was, and so was UCF, and it feels like they were too. Maybe not. Could be wrong. I don't remember. But, and then you had SMU come out of there just last year or whatever as well. It's definitely been a lot of moving around. A lot of moving around. Last comment, Pac-12 is Washington State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Utah State, Colorado State, Fresno, Boise, and Gonzaga hoops only. Wow. Yeah, that just doesn't look right. Utah State, huh? And Colorado State. Colorado State's leaving. They're leaving the Mountain West. I'm surprised that they're got so many that are leaving the Mountain West. Huh. Okay. But the Mountain West had gotten pretty big, hadn't it? I guess it makes sense. Somewhat, anyway. Yeah, Kobe, I mean, I think I'd like to see you go to 9. I don't have a problem with the going to 9, but I think it could get in the way of some of the rivalries that are out of conference, for your when you start thinking about like Florida, their main rivals are the Florida schools, Florida State and Miami, aside from Georgia, of course. But are they going to end up having to lose one of them? Probably. And then their other rival in the SEC has always been Tennessee, I guess Kentucky, but not really. I mean, they've owned Kentucky aside from a few years that Stoops was taking that over. But I mean, it's just to me, I don't want to see you screwing up these rivalries. And it's crazy to me to think that one of the rivalries that probably go by the wayside, and I've heard different people say that they don't really care, but Auburn, Georgia, that's going to go away. Hell, that's the oldest rivalry in the South. Oldest rivalry in the South. So, and, not for nothing, but I think A&M and Texas should continue playing every year. And I think that Arkansas should get to continue playing Texas all the time too. But the only one we know is gonna always be played will be Oklahoma and Texas if they don't go to 9. I guess there's other ways that they could work it out. I don't know. But it just seems like the cleanest way to do it. And here's the thing, with 9, you play everybody every other year. And if you were to go and play at a school for 4 years, not that happens a ton anymore, but you will have played in every stadium in the SEC by the time it was all over with. You'd have a home and away with everybody in the SEC, no matter what. I like it. But again, unless you're going to actually do, the strength of schedule, I get the argument. I get the argument that they're making. Look, why are we going to go out there and put our necks on the line when we're already playing tougher schedule than you are? I get it. And I know people don't want to hear it because they hate the SEC. I understand. It doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it wrong. What's up there, James Space? Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. I just think that, in the end, is this going to turn into, it looks like it is kind of turning toxic. You know what I mean? They were all on the same page, and then all of a sudden the Big 12 and ACC decide. I think Brett Yarmark bumped his fucking head. I think he bumped his head. He's done everything else pretty well as far as trying to keep that, keeping the Big 12 together. He ran circles around that poor bastard that was in charge of the Pac-12. That guy's an idiot. But, they shouldn't have, really, the Big 12 probably should have died out whenever Oklahoma and Texas decided to leave. They made a smart enough plan to go ahead and bring in the other schools. But when you don't have a TV deal, that was the main thing. He was smart enough to take that TV deal quick. Kliavkoff wasn't. It killed him. And then all the bullshit, it was so many lies and all that stuff that they were talking about. It was just weird. But I don't know, man. I think that's the one thing that I don't like seeing is rivalries going by the wayside. And I think that if you don't go to 9, I think it's going to make it tough to continue playing these rivalries. Now, you could lose a non-conference rivalry, maybe, but Florida doesn't always play Miami. They've always played Florida State. I don't think that'll go away. But to me, the main thing that concerns me about it, if you don't go to the 4-4-2-2 and you say the first 3 years you continue just getting one team out of the Big 12 in there, one and probably one out of the ACC 2 or maybe 2, you're screwed. You're screwed. Your brand power has just become nothing. And the ACC, at least, they've got Clemson and Carolina and Florida State, even Virginia. They've got some pieces, Miami, of course, that you can look at it and say, okay, well, that makes sense for them to. But I don't hear a bunch of people talking about anybody in the current Big 12 that they would want to bring over to the SEC. Maybe Kansas. I've heard that. I don't know why, but they almost feel like more of a Big 10 program. But the basketball, I can see why they would want to do that. I just don't see it, man. It's a good league. Maybe not a lot of big. Oh no, I'm not saying that the Big 12 isn't a good league. And again, I've had my Big 12 hat on during these conversations. I'm not doing this taking shots. I'm not doing what coach does, just talking about how shitty they are. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying for the health of the sport. And that's where I don't. When Yormark said that shit about it was for the good of the sport, I was like, no, it's not. I think that if you're cutting off 60 to 75% of the country from access to your tournament, it's not good. It's not good. And how long are Big 12 fans going to be happy if they're only getting one in? Because that's what they're going to get more years than not. I just think it's a bad idea. My hope is, I'm hoping that you go to the 9-game schedule for the SEC. That'd be cool. But in order to do that, it sounds to me like it's going to have to be the 4-4-2-2. So I kind of hope that the Big 10 sticks its digs its heels in and says, nope, we're not doing it. We're not going to go to the 5+11 because the only way you go to 9 is if we do. Whatever. I don't care how it goes, but I think you got to save the Big 12 and ACC from themselves because they're not thinking right. They're not thinking right. We won't what? What do you mean we won't? I mean, that's my concern is how many I don't see any of the Big 12 schools that are on that first list of teams that you just want to go get. Either one of those conferences. They haven't really been talking about them. And to be honest with you, I don't know that Florida State's as high up the list as they think they are. I really don't. Don't think any one of the Big 12 has the stadiums to appeal to the SEC. The smaller ones currently in the SEC have been there either since the start or before it was the SEC. Well, yeah, but I don't think that really matters that much. It won't be many. I don't think the SEC plans. We won't be happy. Yeah. I don't think anybody. I'm not going to be happy if that all goes down. I think that that's the one way that you can hurt your the whole thing. Anyway, all right. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think they want to go more than like 20 in the SEC. I don't think they take more than 4, and that could end with. I mean, they want North Carolina first and foremost. I think you'd probably end up with Clemson, maybe Florida State, but there's a lot of people in the SEC that don't give a shit about Florida State. Texas Tech's financial backing is one guy. Vince posted, it's one guy. To compare that, Oklahoma has like 10 billionaire boosters. 10. And Oklahoma doesn't have the money that a lot of these schools have. Tech ain't doing. It's a bunch of bullshit, if you ask me. I mean, come on now. And good for them. I mean, good for them to do that. Let's go. Meeting canceled. Nice. Here's the thing about the Big 12 schools, though. If you did bring them into the SEC fold, they're the ones that care about it as much as anybody. I mean, I don't care how big the stadiums are. The atmospheres at these places, go check it out. I mean, it damn sure isn't the Pac-12. It damn sure isn't the Pac-12. So I don't know, man. They care about they care about the sport, and I think it would be big if the Pac had taken OU, Texas, and even Oklahoma State. If they had to, that would have still been a great league. Oh, absolutely. No, it was that was Texas not being willing to give up the Longhorn Network, that wonderful network that killed that deal. Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, most of the schools in the Big 12 aren't completely. I mean, hell, Baylor's got a shit ton of money. Baylor's got a shit ton of money. TCU's got a shit ton of money. I mean, Oklahoma State ain't poor. I don't give a shit what they tell you. I think Utah's got less money than most of them. And Barber was saying the other day that they're only planning on paying 15 million into the rev share. They're not going to go over and above that. I don't even think with their collective is the way he made it sound. Why do you worry about that, MWG? I don't care anything about that. You know what? That helps it helps the SEC to not have to travel that way. You ask me. And the bigger this thing gets, here's the number that they need to get to. If they're going to go to a power 2, I think what they end up doing is it becomes very regional again. You might end up with another Southwest Conference type of deal, or they'll pod it out, do pods or whatever. Now, I know that the SEC and the Big Ten love their brands. I mean, they love the Big Ten brand. They love the SEC brand. They don't want to be in another conference. So they may call it that still. But I think it would definitely go divisions, because I think you better be going to 70 teams if you're doing it. Absolutely, a conference should be regional as much as you possibly can. And that's the one thing that the SEC has. They don't want to go outside of their footprint, their regional footprint. They don't want to get very far away from it. You're not going to see them. You wouldn't see them going after USC or UCLA or anybody. You wouldn't see it. Now, they would go after Notre Dame. They would absolutely go after Notre Dame. That's the big fish, Yeah, I mean, the Southwest but I mean, Benji, we grew up during the time when it was around, and so I'm a Big 8 Southwest Conference guy. I love those leagues. And look, they were powerful conferences. The Southwest Conference, yeah, I guess it was more of the commuter schools, more, you had Rice and Houston and SMU and shit. It was definitely not as good. Definitely not as good as the Big 8. Not in football, anyway. They were pretty damn good at basketball, though. But the point I'm making is I don't think it's going to go back to that, but what they're going to do is ended up having to go into pods, and that would regionalize the sport again. I don't think it really hurts anything to do that way, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that you're going to go back to having an actual Southwest Conference, right? Yes, I can see that too. OU, Nebraska, Mizzou. Colorado, Okie Light. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I've changed my mind about what I think about Pac-12 schools these days, though. After the way all that went down. What's up there, Sooners for Life? You missed the late nighter on Saturday? Why? Go to bed early? Yeah, man, think about that, dude. There's no way that you having to go to Cal. I mean, think about Oregon and Washington having to go all the way to Maryland and Jersey and shit like that for Rutgers. Whoa. Those are long damn trips. And it's not as bad. I mean, the football teams, I mean, they fly first class. I mean, they've got it made. But the other sports, that's tough, right? What if this whole last week was a huge power two psyop to get the 4422 without a lawsuit? Yeah. I don't think that there's any they don't have a leg to stand on with the lawsuit. They should have fought last year for the power. I remember times when Sooners didn't think about TCU, Tech, and Baylor. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they were all Southwest Conference, right? It could have been, though. But I don't think, whatever, man. I don't see any lawsuits. Lawsuits aren't going to really cut anything. And here's the thing. If you go 5+11, I think that they need to do 4-4-2-2 to save them from themselves, man. Save them from themselves. Do not let them do this shit. Yeah. Well, no doubt about that, Cherokee. No doubt about that one. Well, I think, like I said, the SEC, I know they don't want to get huge, but at some point, I think that you could save the Power Four, or even if you had the ACC and the Big 12 could kind of merge together, and then they could kind of pot out and there wouldn't be as much travel for them, which makes a lot of sense. West Virginia, wouldn't be so stuck in all, I mean, that would add a lot of teams that they could play against right there in their own area, not as much travel for them. Same with like Pitt, Pitt's gonna, still be in it. And it would help Pitt, it would help Cincinnati. You know what I mean? UCF. I think it makes perfect sense, but nobody seems to want to do it. I mean, again, they keep getting in their own damn way. I think both sides of it. I thought that the Pac-12 and the Big 12 should have merged, and Kliavkoff shit all over it immediately. And so Yormark cut his throat. Off with his head then. Bye. You know what I mean? It was, but it's been, I mean, it's tough. But here's the one thing. I mean, all this idea that everything's so broken. I mean, you can say that, except for they're making more money than they ever have by a lot. And it's not going down. But that's where I say you can't cut out a bunch. And by the way, you got to remember that ESPN and Fox have both said you cannot chop out 60 to 75% of the country and still expect this thing to stay relevant with everybody. I mean, the reason that it's popular is because even fans of Iowa State or whoever, they're okay with, I mean, they're going to keep taking their shot at it, but they're going to continue watching the shit after it's over with. They are. Now, if you take away their access to be able to have a shot at it, hell no, they wouldn't. Yep. Yeah, I know, man. The Big Ten bottom feeders are garbage and not really getting better. That was something that's been talked about a lot. I heard Josh Pate talking about it last year, that the networks had told these programs that were, your Indianas, Illinois, Minnesota. You're not just going to take this money and not go get coaches now. You can't do it. You know? It's fairly wild that as a Longhorn fan, I feel more welcome here and less attacked than I do on all the anti-SEC national shows now. Well, there's a lot of people pissed off, man. There's a lot of people pissed off. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not even a question, man. You know, I don't even know how anybody would. It's crazy to me, man. It really is. It really is crazy to me. Take away my access to the party, I would abstain from it all. No, that's what I'm talking about. And so that's why I feel like they're not. I think that you have to preserve it, because the Big 12's trying to. Yormark's trying to take away the access to the party. One is not going to cut it, man. It's not going to cut it. It's just. I mean, come on, man. Get your two in there and make a run at it. You've got, because right now, what's happened with just NIL before the rev share and all that kind of stuff, I think that's allowed some parity to kind of creep up. Now, I don't know how long that stays, because I'm telling you that I don't think that Deloitte clearinghouse shit is going to fly. In fact, I'd bet anything on it. It isn't going to fly. The first time you tell one of those kids that they don't get to sign that deal, or that they're not going to be able to get that money that they have on whatever NIL deal that they sign, they're going to sue the shit out of them. And they don't have any kind of protection against it. So it doesn't, even the settlement does not give them any kind of protection. The only way they're going to be able to do that is if they collectively bargain, and they don't want to do that still. So to me, that shit is not going to change. What I hope changes is that people stop looking at it as this is a problem with players, not a problem with the universities, the NCAA, the commissioners, the coaches. That's what I want. I'm going to keep standing on tables and telling people to shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it, that these kids are greedy. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. The greed is not about the kids. Tennessee, that was the Nico stuff. It's so the fact that they would sit there and people are even saying, "Oh, good for them, standing up to him." Are you joking? They started this shit. When they started NIL, they said you couldn't, it was a rule, you cannot use it as an enticement. They were paying Nico in high school. They were flying him around on private jets while he was still in high school. They taught him to do business this way, and then they're bitching about it. They're already got their governors subverting the Deloitte thing by passing a law that says you can't touch us. Yeah. Well, if the Big 12 wanted to keep Oklahoma, Texas, they had, it's not like they weren't trying to get out for 10 years, because they were. And yet nobody ever listened to them. It was simple. A lot of it was simple. They just wanted to stop playing freaking noon games all the time. Noon games. That was a lot of it. But on top of that, the people that talk about Bob Bowlesby being he was not a good commissioner. He wasn't. Just because he stood up to ESPN, after you're already screwed? Come on, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, Tennessee opened that can of worms first, how they became the victim. No, I know. And they're continuing to they're pushing back against it. I've been laughing at I was just saying whenever the show first started, I was like, I'm getting sick of Tennessee right now. Now it's their softball team that won't shut the fuck up. They're acting like, oh, and some guy told me on Twitter yesterday, y'all bought all those championships or whatever. And then I saw, I don't know how true it is, but I saw a list of who spent the most. And Tennessee was number 2. Like, not very far behind. It was like, whatever. I don't know how real it is. But I don't even, and again, I don't give a shit. I pay them all. But I'm not going to do the blame the player stuff. I'm not doing it, man. Because they could change all these things. All this stuff, everybody hates the portal. I get it. But guess what? They could fix that one too. Sign real contracts with them. Sign them for 2 years. Give them the amount of money that they should get. No, you know why they don't do that? Because they like being able to get rid of your ass after 1 year if they think somebody's better. Again, these are things that's the whole deal. That's exactly what's going on. You could fix it if you wanted to, but you don't. Yeah, you're not attacked at all, Larry. He says horns down right away. Yeah, well, we do it anyways.
And call your team trash, because that's what they are, trash.
That was the wrong one, but it fits too.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
But you start talking about, hell, did you guys, I don't know how many, I guess most of you guys were in here last night, but I was still laughing about the Kirby Smart thing over the weekend where he was talking shit about programs paying $20,000 a month to kids, upwards of $20,000 a month to kids to stay committed to their schools. He was talking about Lincoln at USC because they've been the most aggressive in Georgia. But they got to hold on to it. But shit, they're doing it too. Tennessee's doing it too. Everybody's doing it too. Yeah, you like the 1 year. There you go, Greg. There you go. But there's a lot of people that are like, fuck all that. Look at how many people freak out every time somebody enters the portal. And it's because they don't pay attention to the fact that these guys are being asked to leave and get in the portal a lot. What's the best option? 8 conference games, 9 or 10? I think I don't mind going to 9. I don't care about. I think that with the size of the conference, I think you can go to 9 for sure. I don't think it needs to be 10 because then you're gonna definitely kill non-conference play there, non-conference rivalries, and I don't like that. I think we need to try to keep those. We need to try to keep those. That's the biggest thing that I hate about it all. Matt Rule pisses me off that he's been soft. Soft. The only person softer than that dude is Lincoln Riley. Yeah, I don't know how much I don't know how well they're even doing that though. 20,000, that can only be a couple. But if you think about that in a year's time, if that was a whole year that they were committed, right? Then they'd make what, $250,000 if it was 20,000 a month, $240. Okay. I don't know how many of those are doing that, but I know one thing. They drove up the price on them last year, and they went from number 1 in recruiting to like number 15. So when they land that class, in December, I'll give them their roses then, but not until then. Georgia needs. Well played, Bob. Well played. Or Greg, well played, well played. Love that one. That's funny shit. Running sideways at the 1. Yeah. Should the Big 12 add Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, and Virginia? Just an idea. Well, if they could, but they can't. I mean, why would they come? Why would they go? I don't think that at the moment they're in the same deal. The money's the same. You know, they don't have to travel crazy right now. I think if they're going to do anything, they should just merge the conferences, because one of them's, I think they're going to end up with a power 3. I don't think it doesn't have to go to a 2, but it's going to be a 3. And then there's going to be some movement, but I would think you're probably looking at what? Yeah, that's definitely a C is who he was talking about. But it ain't the only ones doing it. I'm going to say it again. I think the Kirby and them guys are doing. I think everybody in the SEC is doing it. I think everybody in the country is doing it if you can. It is an arms race. It is. What happened to Deuce Robinson? I don't know. He was there last year. Did he leave? Did he leave finally? Because I don't know. Because that dude's a bad dude too. I know he's a baseball player though too. So I don't know if he's there still or not. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to get him. I mean, again, Mars, should they? Yeah, I think they should do the best they can to add everybody. I think they should add the entire conference, because then again, you could regionalize it. You can help your West Virginias and Cincinnati's and UCF, because their schedule, their travel is crazy as hell too. It's crazy as hell. He's a wide receiver now. Is he still at SC? He's a stud, man. I know that. I just don't understand what he's doing, though. Mekhi Lemon's still kicking ass, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think that they should play it, but Oklahoma won it all the time. I mean, they're one. It's like, what's the 91, 20, and 7 is the record? It's not like it really matters. But that isn't being played not because of, it doesn't have shit to do with the SEC. I don't care what Mike Gundy says. It has everything to do with, it gave him an out from getting his ass whipped. He's won 4 out of 20 as head coach there. 4 out of 20 Bedlam games. Mediocre Mike. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to beat up on them and shit and watch them cry about it, all that. They're totally Texas A&M. Exactly like Texas A&M. Inferior, bitchy, weird, cultish. I like old Cody, but they're fewer and further between from up there. We have a defensive end on my son's team getting recruited by Oregon and Iowa State. A house over for me. My mother showed up the mother showed up in a brand new SUV and had some new luxury furniture delivered. You think it came from Iowa State there, Whitehead? You think it came from Oregon or Iowa State? Yeah. That's pretty wild. Good for her. Get what you can get, man. Get what you can get. They're, as I said, they're all paying, man. They're all paying these people, these kids. Even, and hell, a lot of them are getting paid just to go visit. Not even just paying their way to get there. They're paying them to come. And that's the other thing, is there's so many of these coaches that part of their contract is how they land in those recruiting rankings, you know? I don't think SEC wants Florida State either. That goes back a long ways though, too, Benji. I know Bobby Bowden pissed off the SEC something fierce by saying fuck y'all for years. Years and years. He was like, why would I do that? I play in the Orange Bowl every year. What's the point? You know what I mean? I don't know that that's, and if you hear them telling it, I've heard TJ Pittenger talking about he thinks it's going to be the Big Ten. I know didn't they go and get their stupid academic status bullshit that all the Pac-12 thought was so important to their survival and didn't matter at all? Dumb. Yeah, FSU's. Well, I mean, look, to be fair, they did get screwed out of that playoff. Do I think that they needed to be in that playoff? No. But it's pretty messed up. You know, you can understand why they're upset. I am sick to death of Danny Cannell, though. Sick to death of Danny Cannell. I love TJ. He's my guy. And Double Fries No Slaw is a great show. And then the guy, what are the Garnet and Old, those guys that they go on Bomber Show, and I like those dudes too. And then there's one other one. I actually like a lot of their podcasts. I can't stand Danny Cannell's ass though. He needs to shut up. Shut up. Yeah, the SEC wants North Carolina. They want Virginia too. For whatever reason, they want Virginia too. I think more so than Clemson, more so than anybody else. Like I said, I think they'll probably end up adding 4 if they do it, but I don't see how it. Yeah. Well, FSU is not as egregious on FSU because they flipped over their whole program again. You know what I mean? Oklahoma State doesn't have an excuse. They had 20 of 22 starters coming back. Ollie Gordon was a no-show. Bowman became himself. But the coaching staff quit on him. You know, it's a joke. Charlottesville is beautiful. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think that the Clemson thing, I think that South Carolina is trying to keep them out. I don't think they want them in there. And I don't know that they care that much about having them. But I think they will end up there. I think they'd be one of the 4. Now, Miami, everybody keeps thinking it's just an automatic. Everybody keeps talking about Miami to the Big Ten. Them being a medical school and all that other stuff, I guess it makes sense. But I'll say this. Every Miami fan I've talked to or heard from has said, fuck that. We don't want nothing to do with the Big Ten. It's too damn cold up there. They don't want to do it. And I would tell you that a lot of the people from Tallahassee are the same way, but yeah, their excuses, mediocre Mike for sure, Greg. No doubt about it. It is. Well, tailor-made for the Big Ten is as far as their academic portfolio and all that stuff. Okay. They're still in the South, though. Yeah. Florida doesn't want FSU. Of course not. They don't want Miami either. But the thing is, though, is you can't listen to Florida on it. You can't listen to South Carolina either. You have to go with what's best for the program. And you want the brands. You want the brands that can play. Carolina is such a big brand, though. I mean, it's probably the most recognizable brand in college sports. One of them anyway, one of the top 4 or 5, and they don't even win a lot. Football-wise, they don't win hardly at all. But that Michael Jordan brand recognition stuff, man, it matters. It does matter. Do they have a clown school? I didn't know that. Oh, that's some funny shit. Well, I got nothing but respect for Coach Bowden. It's been different since he left for sure, though. And I don't know. I got a lot of respect for what they've done. I mean, what they did under Coach Bowden and the players that came through there, man, unbelievable. And they still get players, but I don't know that they come back from it this year. I think that 2-10, that's tough to bounce back from right away. Yeah. I wonder if it feels like Duke doesn't have to go to either one. They could go to the damn Ivy League. That's what kind of school they are. You know what I mean? But I don't think you have to be in the same conference for them to continue with those rivalries on Tobacco Road either. You know what I mean? Yeah, Sooner in Texas, that's what we were just talking about that. We were just talking about that earlier because I want to see them go to 9 games because of the rivalry stuff, but I'm just going to tell you that I definitely understand why the coaches are saying hell no. Not unless you're going to actually take strength of schedule into account. And to a man, they'll come in here, Big 10 folks, a lot of Big 12 people, but definitely all the Big 10 people are like, oh no, they need to go to 9 because they talk about their conference schedule, but they play those cupcakes. That not as many cupcakes are in the Big 10. Just saying. Yeah, Virginia does kind of put it up into the Mid-Atlantics. Yeah. Yeah, but it's still, I mean, yeah, I guess so. It's I don't know, it's not, I mean, Benji, you lived out there in Virginia, didn't you? For when you were in the service? Forms the Old South. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's their number one choice. That's who they want. Without a doubt. They don't want shit to do with NC State. And I know the North Carolina legislature is trying to like force that on them, and they're like, fuck you. We're not doing it. I don't know. Yeah. So but you were more like around DC, which I'd look at when you start looking at Virginia and like Maryland. Yeah, it's definitely more Mid-Atlantic around that area, I would say. But Richmond, Norfolk, Chesapeake. So, but where they're at, right, which is, man, you just said it a second ago, but it's further south, isn't it? It's been a long time since I've been out there. I didn't spend a ton of time in Virginia. It is a beautiful state, though. A beautiful state. NC State can go to the Big East. Yeah. The Big East is a Catholic conference, man. I don't know that that'll work. Wild that came back, too. The Big East came back. NIL is driving money. The big boys are creating mergers, just like in business. Big bank take little bank. I think it's going to be 3, Shawty, in my opinion, but because I just don't think that there's enough out of those. First off, I think you have to keep at least 70. There needs to be 70 teams that are competing for a shot at the playoffs. Because if you don't, you can hurt the sport. So in order to do that, you're going to need a third conference for sure. Because just make no, I mean, the SEC doesn't want but like 4 more teams at the most. And I don't even think they really want that. Blacksburg is more towards West Virginia, yeah. From Richmond to Tidewater to Western VA is the South. When you get to Alexandria near DC, it changes. Okay. No doubt about that. Yeah, I remember when I first went out there, I was stationed in New Jersey and drove all the way out. That was fucking crazy. You get on the Beltway out there, holy shit. Like 8 lanes of traffic on each side. I had never driven, and it was the middle of the night when I drove around the Beltway. in DC area. And it was still crazy. Shit. Anyway, NIL is definitely not going away, though. That's the one thing. I'm just going to tell you that they're not going to get rid of that shit. They're not going to be able to. I know that they're trying their asses off, but it's not going to happen. And look, if they want to, all that shit is the conferences and coaches and all them trying to retake control over the players. Shotty, I know you with me on that. We're standing on tables. Fuck all that. You cannot limit their NIL. You cannot do it. Faster pace of life the closer you get to DC. No doubt, man. Now, I've been to DC quite a bit. You spend a lot of time at like Andrews Air Force Base. It's where anything that you have to do as far as paperwork and shit's always in DC. Still country places like Charlottesville. Yeah, no doubt. Kind of like Dover, Delaware. It's country as shit too. It's just different. It's weird because in like Pennsylvania, once you get past Philly, it gets pretty country as hell over there too. New York, same way. The tri-state area. Jersey's even pretty rural. It's pretty rural. As small a state as it is, it's pretty rural for the most part until you get close to New York or Philly. And then it's nuts. Crazy. I don't know how people drive in New York at all. I would never. I wouldn't even own a car if I lived there. Wouldn't even own a car. Yeah, dude, no doubt. Yeah, bro. Bro, is it the Verrazano Bridge? I think the Verrazano Bridge used to, and it was shit, we're talking 97, 98-ish. And it was like $25 to cross that fucker then. I mean, it was nuts. Jersey's the Garden State. Yeah. Yep. Wildflowers everywhere, man. Wildflowers everywhere. Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I've still got a lot of buddies that are from that area. I've been to Penn State. State College is out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Oh yeah, once you get out of like Trenton's crazy, or like Newark, yeah. Once you get out of the city. Cherry Hill and all that stuff, though, it's all kind of grown right into at that point. At Burlington, Cherry Hill, all those places around there in Jersey, it's just basically Philly too. Man, it's that whole I-95 corridor, dude, is nuts. Nuts. And Jersey, the jug handles, man, I hated that shit. Driving in New Jersey was the worst. The worst. The home of the jug handle. Can't take a left turn anywhere. No left turns. Yeah, it is a big ass bridge. Yeah, I had a buddy who lived in Staten Island. We used to go to a lot of Yankee games up there. But more times than not, like his parents still lived there in Staten Island, so I would ride with him, but I hated it. I hated it. I'd have to sit there and read the newspaper or like look out the side window. I could not watch the dude drive. It was wild. Wild the way they drive there. Nutty. Much easier to get around on the trains, stuff like that. Even cabs, buses. Like I said, I wouldn't even own a car if I lived there. Now, I like New York a lot. It's freaking awesome, but I wouldn't own a car. Nutty. Yeah. No, I know. It shouldn't, but shit. The New Jersey Turnpike is fucking crazy. You were a Southern man driving through that shit. I know, man. But I'll tell you this: the first year I got there, the first year I got to McGuire was 90, 96, 95. They had the blizzard of 96. I mean, I'd been there a couple of months. Freaking 2.5 feet of snow. I'd never seen more than a dusting of snow when I got there. And we were digging out. I mean, their snow drifts were taller than the 2-story houses and shit out there on the base and on base housing where I lived. Fuck that. Yep. Cherry Hill jug handles. Buff City. Sounds like Jersey. Yep. Listen, there's some cool parts of it, but some of it sucked though. New York is a beautiful state though too. Once you get out of New York City, and I actually I love the city, but it's a really cool. It's awesome. New York City it's different than any city in the world, man. No doubt about it. It's definitely its own thing. There's nothing else like it. Toronto looks similar to it, but it's not like the Apple. Not quite like the Apple. Toronto's a cool city though too. Cool city. All right, guys. What else we need to talk about? Anything else? Fort Drum, lake effect snow. Fuck that. No. Hey man, and that's like I said. Now I know we definitely, the times that I saw more snow than that was like we went for Christmas. I mean, a lot of family in Oklahoma, so we spent Christmases and stuff, and you would get some snow. Few times it snowed a little bit more, and then we weren't that far from like the mountain area in New Mexico anyway, so we could go and be around snow, but you didn't have to deal with that shit. I didn't know what a snow shovel was. Never driven on ice, none of that shit. It was that was the toughest thing about the culture shock was definitely, that was real, but the worst part was definitely the weather, man. And after the blizzard, and it was that first day, there was like 28 inches of snow in one day. Then it finally goes away, state of emergency, all that shit. They say, oh, it never snows here in Jersey. That's weird. It's usually just like freezing rain. 2 months later, and I had the second job. I was throwing newspapers. I was throwing the Trenton Times, and that was an everyday job. And it did it again, but it was like 15 inches that time. Oh, and they had just got the shit like to where you could drive around again. I hated that shit. The next year, it rained from January like 3rd to February 18th. That was a record. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I hated it. The weather up there is terrible. Sucks in the summertime too. Just trash. Oh man, I'm getting paged, it looks like. I need to get to work. Gotta go get some work done, I guess. I didn't want to be right. Well, man, you can tell the difference, man. I mean, I love Dylan Gabriel, man. He's no shade on DG. Love the guy. But it ain't really close with those cats. It ain't really close with those cats. You know what I mean? One is Coach Prime's son. You know what I mean? It's just, come on, man. He's going to be good. He's going to be good. Hell, they've been saying, they said Shiloh's been doing pretty good in Tampa Bay, too. And wasn't he undrafted? Didn't he go undrafted and just get picked up? But he played pretty good when he was at South Carolina. It probably hurt him more than, because he wasn't a ball carrier of any kind. You know what I mean? He was just a safety, but he would have had a better chance of getting drafted and stuff like that if he'd have stayed at South Carolina. He started the year that he was there. Can't believe in Shiloh, huh? Shiloh's a good player, man. He's not as good as Shedeur, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, it's weird though. To me, you knew that they knew they screwed that up immediately because then they immediately go and pick Shedeur in the 5th. They knew. Did you see? I was seeing Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco were talking about it, that I guess Flacco's a little pissy about having to mentor those guys. He's like, fuck that. But he's doing it so that he doesn't look bad or whatever, but he was kind of bitching about it. I was laughing. Ocho Cinco was like, fuck that. I'd tell him to kiss my ass. I wouldn't do shit trying to take food out of my mouth. Yeah. He's more of a run stop. I mean, look, he's more of a run stop and say he's a hitter. He's definitely a hitter. He's not a great coverage guy. You're right. No, he doesn't, Charles. You just don't like his ass. He's better than DG, man. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. I understand how come people don't like him necessarily. I mean, I get that. All the flash and shit talking and stuff. I get that part. They're just like their dad, though. You know what I mean? That's what they do. They talk shit. That wouldn't make them the only athletes I've ever seen do that either. Plenty of them at Oklahoma, by the way. But anyway, all right, guys. I guess I got to get out of here. But we'll take this dog for a quick walk, get to work. Appreciate everybody coming in. We will be back for sure on Friday. I think we're going to be going with Chris Mason and them tomorrow night. Maybe, yeah, tomorrow night. And I don't know if we're doing anything with Dent and them. Dent, man, they're busy as hell with that mega camp they did, man. They killed it, though. They did big time. They did big stuff. Shiloh coverage was a huge liability for the bus. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. I didn't run the commercials, so I'm going to go ahead and run them both now on the way out. Appreciate all y'all coming in. Make sure you hit that like button. Become a subscriber, man. Help us get out, man. Share the stream. If you guys can share the stream, help us get those subs up. We really need to. I'd love to hit that 5,000 mark before the season starts. Really would. Some dude who wore 44, Norman, was pretty brash. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah, he still talks a lot of shit. He ain't the only one. I mean, again, hell, Tony Casillas still talks a lot of shit too. Always on Twitter, he's talked shit all day long. I do. I talk a lot of shit too. That's true. So do you there, Captain Crunch. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. We'll see you all in the next one. Hey, Jason Watkins here with Hall of Fame College Football. And if you are ready to back your favorite team, the Sooners, and fade that Texas hype train every Saturday this fall, there's only one place to do it, MyBookie. Right now, you can double your first deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up at hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. That's hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. Yep. 100% deposit bonus, and it takes less than 5 minutes to get started. Whether you're betting college football, rolling the dice in the online casino, or dropping a 10-leg parlay on SEC Chaos, MyBookie has everything you need. Bet anytime, anywhere, on the go, at the tailgate, or yelling at the refs from your couch. Just don't talk trash. Put your money where your mouth is. Hit that link, hofmedia.us/mybookie1000, and get your deposit bonus today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and Hall of Fame college football. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, bleeding crimson and cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too, all shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page.